Hello and welcome to Michelle's Life on Repeat. I am in my happy place, which is my orchid room. And I'll give you a looky-loo maybe in a minute or two. I wanted to tell you a little bit about life. You know, like a Conversation Tuesday, or sometimes it's a chit chat Sunday where I just share a little bit about things that are happening. And I love it, love it, love it when you chit chat back and share a little bit about what you've been doing, what you've been reading, what you've been baking, what you've been up to, what kind of trouble have you been getting into. Let me know, okay? I look forward to those comments down below. But here I am in my orchid room and I am boiling, but it is the middle of, not even the middle, it is the beginning part of January. It is my sister's birthday. Happy birthday. Boom. But I am here and I am drinking up my mixed up Gatorade, which I seem to need a lot of lately as I have more migraines. My potassium drops out in me and I try to rehydrate. I found a product. Now I am not pushing it. I'm not a product salesman, but I'll list it in the description in case you're curious about it. And I'll put a picture up on the screen for you. It's called it's by Pure Essence. It's an ionic fizz, so you put it in your drink. I mix it with my Gatorade, and it is a Super D-K Calcium Plus. And I was looking for something to supplement my magnesium because when I take the tablets, they sometimes irritate my stomach. So I found that they had a couple of mixed up pure things like this at the more organic-y health food stores, but this one had tons of vitamins and minerals, and the K is what I was excited about too, to add that in. I can't remember what K does, but I know that my body needs all the extra help it can get. So anywho, it quenches the thirst, makes it a little fizzy. And what have I been up to? Well, I've been getting into trouble. How about you? I have been making sourdough starter. Yes, I have thought I would jump into that adventure. And so it is like day 7. It's probably day 7 that my starter, I've been feeding and portioning out and feeding. And I got to day 5 and it stopped doing the foaming and the doubling and the rising, and I panicked and I went back to all the videos that I've consumed over the last 3 months in preparation for this adventure, and they all said, don't panic if on day 4 or 5 or somewhere along the line it just stops growing. So I was like, don't panic, don't throw it out, don't give up. And so yesterday I read, which I was watching a video. I watched multiple videos from a lot of YouTubers that I love to watch. And the best part is reading the comments down below, because those are people like you and me who have walked out the journey of whatever the topic is you're studying, and they can offer their 2 cents. And someone had suggested just let it sit for 72 hours and it will begin to acclimate and get hungry again and double up and all that and start screaming out for more and more feeding of it. So I did that. I did not portion off my scrape away part and add in the new start feeding it yesterday. And today, yoo-hoo, it went up an inch. And if I go down and check, it's probably up a little bit more because we have the fireplace going. It is perpetually, hot in my house. Here in the Pacific Northwest, we want to dry out from all the rain, and it's cheaper than running the electricity because we have so much firewood. And so hubby is always making a nice warm fire for me. It's delightful, except for right about now, mid-afternoon, and I'm sweating and I'm in my summer shirts. But it's okay. Such a huge differential. I'm glad that I don't grow orchids outside because there's a whole lot more you have to do to control the environment. This is pretty easy. What else have I been doing, you ask? Well, with that starter, I wanted to say thank you if my auntie and uncle are watching. I was given a gift certificate and I was able to purchase equipment to make professional looking sourdough bread. So I will finally get a bench scraper. You know, I've been using my knife and my husband is the one that sharpens them, and he's like, every time I slice, you know, through a fresh loaf of bread or something that I've made. Yes, I have cutting boards, I do, but I meant like when the raw dough is down and you cut your loaf to section it out, pizza dough or bread dough, because there's only 2 of us. I don't need the quantity that a whole loaf will make, so I will cut it into thirds. But he got tired of me using his sharp blades directly on the wet dough on the counter. So anyway, got a professional bench scraper. And so now I'm going to be like, hey, I know what I'm doing. Just kidding. And I got some of those Benton baskets and liners and professional whisk. You know, it'll all work without that stuff, but it was nice as a gift, and I thank you to my auntie and my uncle. Thank you. And I'm gonna make some sourdough bread, and when we finally get a chance with this virus thing to go out and visit, I'm bringing some fresh homemade bread. I'm gonna probably start making my first loaf midweek sometime this week if it smells sour enough. Now it's really hard because my husband has such a high standard of love for sourdough bread. We spent some time in San Luis Obispo, which is on the coast of California, and it has its own sourdough bread called San Luis sourdough, which is the prime top of the line for us sourdough bread. And I know San Francisco has a lot of great sourdough bread, but we compared the two and we loved sourdough from San Luis Obispo. And when we moved across country, our friends and parents would ship us 5 or 6 fresh loaves, and we'd stock them in our freezer and savor each one when we made soups and ate them together with that, or BLT sandwich. So the standard is going to be pretty high, so I am hoping I can live up to that and make a tangy sourdough bread. But it's fun, it keeps my hands busy, it keeps my mind busy. I've been researching, writing, looking into, trying this, trying that, and learning. And with chronic illness, I've got to keep my hands and my mind busy, because otherwise sometimes I get in trouble. I get to wandering down rabbit holes of feeling sorry for myself, that I'm stuck with, you know, not able to make as many plans as I would love because I never know when a migraine will hit. Yesterday morning I woke up with adventures and well, a migraine hit and kind of slowed down those adventures, and it took about 5 or 6 hours for the pill to kick in so that I finally felt alive again, and I was able to get some things accomplished. But you understand, a chunk of your day is gone when you have migraines, if not the whole day. So I keep my mind busy, and in between those spells of migraines, I'm learning about how to make sourdough bread, and I'm learning about plants and how to propagate them. And I've been watching videos, and the people are talking about the reality of you can take a basil plant from the grocery store that comes in those little plastic sleeve, not the plastic sleeves already cut up, but they're a whole plant and they still have the cardboard pot around it. Well, I ran out and bought some. Let me show you. And I slowly peeled away the outer cardboard pieces and I repotted them into a variety of containers to see what would grow best. I had some leftover potting soil from my mom. Thanks, Mom. And I have some that have wicking sticks, that fiber going down into a pool of water so it can suck it up as it needs it. I have a few tiny little seedling ones that are in some leca only, and I'm going to try and see if it will grow in leca only, which is a lot cleaner and you don't need the dirt. And I learned that you can snip off some of the stems of a leaf and put it in a shot glass. So I'm trying that to see if leaves will produce roots and we can have plants year round. We've been making lots of pizzas in our house. I love my air fryer, and we get the dough and we just make individual pizzas about, you know, yay long. They're more square than they are round, and but we can make them and each have our own topping, and it only takes a few minutes. It's wonderful. Love the air fryer. So now we have fresh basil, and I'm hoping that I can keep it going and not have to wait for seedlings to grow in the summer, which is what I normally do. Crazy me, it takes a while sometimes, knock, 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 to get a reality that yes, if it's in a pot and it still has roots, you can just plant it in your orchid room, which already has grow lights, humidity, everything a plant should love. I also have been doing the same thing with two potted plants. One is more of a succulent type and likes it dry. I'll show you some pictures. I was able to separate her out of her pot and put it into two pots. We'll see how she grows. Trying to be thrifty with my plants and also just trying to do experiments because, like I said, keeping my hands busy is very vital for me. And I have this other one. It's it looks crystally when you look up close at it. It's over on my shelf here. I'll show you. I was able to make 5 little plants off of the one plant, and I'm excited about that. So that's what I've been doing. And since I was in the seed growing vein of doing stuff, I started some ruby red chard, which is one of my favorite green leafy vegetables that I normally would buy at the store, which I still buy at the store, but I started some seedlings in the house and hoping that by springish here, because they are cool weathered leafy green, I can just put them in pots outside after they've grown enough in my orchid room. The other thing that's keeping me busy is I have some new books to read. My husband, we made an agreement. We weren't going to exchange Christmas presents this year, and you know there's always someone on that two-party agreement who will break the agreement. Usually it's me. And I'm the one that's like, no, you think you need this. I love you. You need it. You deserve it. Well, he has been using a Paperwhite, a Kindle Paperwhite for years, and he keeps trying to convince me that it is what I need. And I keep saying, I have my phone, I have my iPad, and he's like, yes, you do. And they are so bright at night when we are trying to sleep, and I can see that as low as you turn it down, it's still neon glowing. And he's right. But I'm one of those people that when I have an electronic device, I don't want to part with it. I become emotionally attached and I want it to break and die before I move on to the next thing. I still have my original Kindle from 2010 sitting in a drawer, and I can power it up and use it if I wanted to, but of course you can't make updates on it and all of that stuff. So he's like, okay, emotionally detached, let's give this a try. So he bought me a new Kindle Paperwhite, And with my migraines, my vision has gotten so wonky and screwed up, especially if I'm in the horizontal laying back position and I'm trying to read a book up above me or out in front of me. Everything blurs, doubles up, the lines move, my glasses don't work, and the vision changes daily. So it's not like I can go to the eye doctor and get a new prescription, because it won't be accurate. The medicines on some days and the migraines on some days just squeeze whatever capillaries in the brain, make it all work. And I have the font so big sometimes and I still can't read it. That's when I have to close the book. But I haven't been able to read hardback or paperback books for so long. It kind of breaks my heart, because I'm a touch and a smell and a feel, and I love the pages, but I just can't do it anymore. I have this magnifier that's about the same size as this, and I hold it over my book and I'm trying to read, and he's like, Michelle, we can get you again. Anyhow, this was my Christmas gift from him, and I picked out the case, which I really like. It's pretty fun and funky. But anyway, I am reading a book by an author I had never heard of before, because we got the Amazon subscription to the free Kindle uploads for 3 months. And she, hopefully I pronounced this correctly, her name is Germa Lavero. I'll put her name up on the screen, and the book is called Half in Shadow. And lately I've been reading books based out of World War I in Belgium and France. And I didn't learn history in school very well. I you know, if you've seen any of my other videos, I struggled with dyslexia, and I was one of those C- students, not because I didn't try, but because I put hours and hours and hours into trying to read and retain the information, and I just couldn't. And everything had to have an emotional attachment or a picture that my mind would remember to make associations. This is the way dyslexias think. And so when I'm reading these stories, they're now people, and they're coming to life, you know, be it a love story or a tragedy, and they're living in cultures and environments, and I can feel it, sense it, hear it, all of that with my whole body, and it's sticking in my brain. History is coming alive to me at 54 years old. So that's what I've been reading. Have you been reading anything? I'd love to hear. Let me know. Even if I don't read that kind of book, it's nice to know that you are engaging your brain and reading. There are so many other things that I could talk about with you, but I know that the videos get long and I don't want to take up your time. I just want to socialize and visit with you. Being in the house, this was one of the reasons why I created my channel, that I could communicate with others who, they don't have to have chronic illness, but a lot of you that watch do have an ailment or a chronic illness that keeps you more housebound than you would like. And it is my goal that we don't feel lonely, that we can connect, that we can resonate with one another. We can share laughs, humor. We can, you know, sometimes we laugh at ourselves because it's a way of coping with the pain or the ailments. And I am just appreciative of all of my subscribers who think that whatever it is I talk about is worthy of subscribing to. So I thank you. My next few videos coming out will be based off of my orchids and my orchid collections. I have, like I say, lots more I'd love to share with you. So if you have a question or you want something talked about that I haven't hit upon, just let me know in the comments down below. I thank you for being a part of my life. I wish you wellness. I wish you peace. And until we talk again, bye-bye.